Stuart, your take on this. The FA to open talks with Southgate over a new deal, no matter what happens at the Euros, with the idea of an extension until 2024. This was the FA's chief exec, Mark Bullingham, saying that Southgate had, quotes, unwavering support no matter how well England do.
Totally agree.
You're with him on that? If so, why?
100%.
What happens if you go out tomorrow night to the Germans?
So be it. Are you saying that his whole managerial, how he's viewed as a manager, hinges on one game? And that is probably why football can be perceived as being in a poor state at times, you know. I personally think we're in a position now, if you talk about from today onwards, the next 15 months incorporate the end of a major European Championships, and also Gareth, I think, has been building towards Qatar. Now, Qatar's a unique World Cup. We're playing a World Cup which is at the start of our football season. We've always had criticism about it being at the end of a long season, the players being fatigued, being tired, all of those type of things. Qatar is a standalone one. This is at the start. It might even be the best opportunity for England in a climate that is good for us as well, by the way. You know, it'll probably be about 24, 25 degrees, which isn't bad. That time of the year. Be perfect. Fresh players, perfect climate, with a manager that has got great kudos. I think he's got a great affinity with the players. I think he's a good ambassador for English football. I really do. I know I'm a bit biased. He's a friend of mine.
I agree with you on all these things. Yeah, but if you go out tomorrow night, would that not be deemed as failure?
Okay, well, I roll the clock back and I think to myself, look at the times we've gone boom and bust, keep changing the manager and whatever. I think this fella is a solid pair of hands that's growing the nucleus of a lot of good young players, and I wouldn't make a change personally. Nowhere near it. Irrelevant for personal feelings to an individual or not, I think he's the best man for the job.
And when you look at it, I mean, almost incredibly, if he's still managing England in 2024, he would become the longest serving boss since Sir Bobby Robson. So he's up there. You got to put him right up there in terms of elite England managers.
And also as well, Bobby Robson had the biggest day of his career and the biggest game of his career on the last day of his career. So you're saying longevity, Bobby Robson, it took him 8 years. Was he in charge 8 years?
It
8
was
years
indeed.
plus?
It was indeed.
So it's took him 8 years
82 to 1990.
To get to the highlight of where he was, and they'd writ him off before the actual semi-final against Germany. This country have not been that far since we won the World Cup in '66. They wrote Bobby off and he was decided that he was leaving his job. And then all of a sudden, a month, 2 months, 3 months later, he reached the pinnacle of where he had been. Now, I would turn round and say, we missed a trick letting Bobby walk out of England when we did at that time.
The man who sits in that seat normally, Mr. Simon Jordan, said, and we heard him earlier on when we played the clip, it would be a national embarrassment in England if you don't get to the final. It would be an embarrassment. You can imagine what the headlines will be like Wednesday morning, Stuart, if England lose to Joachim Löw's Germany tomorrow night. And all of a sudden, it's... Incidentally, Southgate's got an extended contract. Yeah. For many England fans, it won't wash.
I look at the bigger picture, personally. I look at all the greater good that he's done. And sometimes in a tournament, you've got to be fortunate in who you get. You know and I know that it's a toss of a coin tomorrow night between us and Germany. It's who handles the occasion, the rub of the green and whatever. The Dutch found that out last night with a handball. Now, I'm not suggesting the Czechs wouldn't have won anyway, but that was a massive swinger. That can happen to any team in this tournament. We play Germany tomorrow. We're not playing the dog and duck, by the way, Simon.
Well, it'll be interesting to hear what he's got to say for himself, because the same Simon Jordan's just texted me, ask the old rascal, Stuart Pearce.
I'll tell you what, for someone who's on sick leave, he's got a lot to say for himself, this fella.
If he gets past the Germans, does he have a good chance with the calibre of the player available to him to get to the final?
Yes, he does.
There you go. You're the old rascal, apparently.
Why not?
Okay.
I just used to be a rascal, you know, but I've slipped into old rascal now.
Jim White and Simon Jordan, Monday to Thursday morning, 10 till 1. On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.